Okay, our last question in part 2 has us taking a look at a equation. It says a student hypothetically was solving this, and he was completing the square. The first step he did was add 13 to both sides. It shows it right down here. The next step was that he added some number c to both sides. State the value of c. So in other words, what was that number that he added on both sides? And then it wants us to explain how he found it. In other words, they don't want us to just write down the number and then move on. So if you remember the completing the square process, part of it does involve exactly what this student was doing. You want to get rid of the constant term or move the constant term over, and then add what I like to call a magic number, some number on both sides of the equation. And how you come up with this number, it's kind of like a little mini formula, I guess. This number is b over 2 squared. Okay, b of course coming from the original quadratic. If this is a, this is b, this is c. So in our case, b equals 6. So half of that, or b over 2, would be 3, and 3 squared would be 9. So this student added 9 to both sides. And be careful, don't confuse c with c from a quadratic. That's not, they should have probably used a different letter there. But this student used 9 to represent this number on both sides. That created a perfect trinomial. And our explanation, we kind of did the work up here, but how did we determine this number? We did b over 2 squared. And what this quadratic would look like, or what the perfect trinomial would look like once you factored it, would be x plus 3 squared. And that's why it is called a perfect trinomial. And then there would be 22 on the other side once you add the 9 in. So then he could solve it using the square root property from there. Okay, but that's all we have to do. We don't actually have to solve this, or it didn't say finish the work and solve it here. All we had to do was basically state that number and where we came, where did it come from. Okay, thank you for watching, and hopefully this was helpful.